So if we look at the national picture in terms of where the post-poll study seems to be different from the actual results, it seems if you look at the vote share, there is a variation between the vote share that the post-poll studies came back with and the actual vote share. The BJP's actual vote share at this moment seems to have gone up less than 0.5%, from 37.7 to 38.3. The Congress's vote share seems to have gone up about 3% to 23.5. That's the one big difference, because remember, the pollsters came back with BJP 40% plus. And if the BJP's actual vote share is 38.3, that's a big change, because what you have to understand, that conversion of votes into seats is always complex. What you expect in the kind of large sample that you had is that you'd roughly pick the right vote share. In Uttar Pradesh, just one second, in Uttar Pradesh, it's actually a dead heat in terms of vote shares. If you compare the breakup of the India alliance with the NDA, it's a very tight fight. Whereas you came back, Pradeep, in your poll with a very different kind of vote share breakup. That's 44 versus 44, that's the number currently, whereas you seem to be predicting a big lead. So there's something which was happening on the ground which the polls frankly failed to catch.
Rahul, is it possible to see NDA vote share? And I know BJP.
No, it's 44, 45. I'll show it to you. Here it is, 44, 44, NDA, India in Uttar Pradesh. It's a dead heat. I'm saying in a bipolar contest. Okay. No, even if you look at the all India numbers for vote share, the fact that there is a big variation in the post-poll study, that is undisputedly true. No, so the Congress...
BJP official election commission site says BJP's overall vote share is 37.9 only.
Okay, it's not 39 as we thought it was.
No, it is. No, you had projected 40 plus.
That's right.
So this is 37.9.
So BJP over-projected BJP, and but clearly under-projected Congress by a big number.
So the NDA vote share,
Congress is 23.
Your NDA vote share was in the high 40s. The NDA vote share actually is now only 45. Your India Alliance vote share was in the late 30s. The India Alliance vote share is in the early 40s.
Yeah, let me tell you. So we predicted for NDA 47%, exact 47%. 45 is here, 2% down. So there, and for India Alliance, we projected 39%, so which is 3% up. That's the swing which took place.
5% swing has damaged.
And this is in a 2% is well within the
in a state like Maharashtra, where there are new formations. It's complex because you've got the Eknath Shinde Sena, Uddhav Bal. So it's very difficult for any pollster because these parties are contesting for the first time.
All over
it's
India.
In Uttar Pradesh where the bigger faux pas has happened.
Yes,
see, make no mistake, because in Uttar Pradesh it's largely a bipolar contest, and because it's a bipolar contest,
Dalit.
My data actually shows, and I'll show this in just a moment. If you see in Uttar Pradesh, on the seats which are Dalit-dominated seats in Uttar Pradesh, you will see how things have changed. The maximum losses to the Bharatiya Janata Party are actually coming from the Dalit-dominated seats in Uttar Pradesh, and that really is the problem. This thing which is being mentioned, that, make no mistake, is the biggest story of this Lok Sabha election. This whole idea that the Samvidhan was like Sita and everybody out to save her on the Dalit-dominated seats. Now take a look at this. 156 Dalit-dominated seats. The NDA is at 57, down 34. India Alliance at 93, up 55.
That's
so it's the Dalits, the Yadavs and the Muslims coming together, which has changed the picture in Uttar Pradesh. But typically, political logic argues that the Dalits and the Yadavs at the village level are antagonistic towards each other.
That is old theory.
If this is the result,
old theory, Rahul.
If this is the result, it shows that that is no longer true.
Yes. And why I'll tell you why it used to be. Because, see, Dalit is bothered about the atrocities, and generally in 30 years back, the atrocities from the upper caste, mostly from Rajputs and Thakurs, and in late 90s, once the emergence of Samajwadi Party and all this came in the force or the power, then the Yadav versus Dalit. So it was other way around, the BSP versus SP also. So the landscape is changing. Now, after losing 4 consecutive elections, the BSP, even Dalits has started thinking where to go.
Yeah, but I don't think we can give the excuse that Dalits don't speak up. I mean, I haven't seen that. In fact, I believe Dalits now speak up. So I think, and a lot of people, I'm going to give reporters credit for once. A lot of the reporters who went on the ground, especially in Eastern UP, came back saying, sir, it's churning. There is caste churning taking place. So maybe pollsters need to look at that again in some way. And, can't say that so-and-so is silent. We've said that about Mahila, and I told you about Bengal. I told you Mahilas,
the big story in Uttar Pradesh is the collapse of the BSP vote. The BSP vote, which was about 19% in the last Lok Sabha elections, is down to 9% now.
They had a partnership.
Samajwadi Party.
Be that as it may, if you go back to the previous election in 2014, they were still 19%. So therefore, the 10% collapse, that's a sizable chunk of vote moving.
Wrong hai, Rahul. वो आप assembly से compare
कीजिए. Assembly they got
2014 के लोक सभा में भी तो 19%.
No, I'll tell you why it is. They got, the difference is, the BSP contested on their own in the assembly of 22. They contested with the Samajwadi Party. When they contested on their own, they got 13% of the vote. That has come down sizably, correct me if I'm wrong, to about 9.2. So about 4%. A large chunk of that presumably has gone, has gone to the
also
India
what's happened is that the extreme polarization of the Muslim and the Yadav vote in favor of the India alliance in Uttar Pradesh. That's why the SP and the Congress proving to be force multipliers for each other. This alliance working much better than the SP-BSP alliance, allowing for transfer of votes and the polarization of the Yadavs and the Muslims along with a chunk of the Dalits.
Dalit जो है वो कांग्रेस की वजह से got attracted towards the alliance, and this is the story.
Okay, so we'll have Pradeep with us. The good thing is he's being magnanimous. He's apologized for the error. And the fact is, unlike Rajdeep, I don't believe that the channels have nothing to do with it. It's a team, it's a partnership, so we got this wrong. Make no mistake about that. But, he worked really hard. 4 times he went into this poll, so we thank you for your effort. And you win some and you lose some. He still has a fabulous track record in terms of polling.
Now you made him, oh God.
No, but the thing is, listen.
You get it all
Pradeep, come on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. In life you can't get all right. Okay, in life you can't get all right. There's a lot of rigor and effort that goes in, and we've been, if you look at all our posts and our coverage during the post poll also, we were constantly saying, let's not get carried away. It's a post poll, it's directional. The reality is the polls can only give you an indication. It's only when you get carried away with your own hype, that is when the problems happen. And we were constantly on air, on Twitter, social media, Instagram saying, just dial the hype down. Don't get so carried away. This is only the post poll results. And therefore, there's a lot to learn.
Can I say this, that, he's got a lot of things right in this election also. The state assembly election. Andhra was not an easy state. Odisha not easy to predict in the manner that he has. The 3 big states, and for reasons that he's clearly given, UP, Bengal and Maharashtra. These are the 3 big mistakes. Punjab, Haryana
and
are
also
the smaller mistakes, if I may call it. But the big mistakes were these 3 states, and they will happen. You will come back, I'm sure, stronger. Your team will come back stronger. But I'm glad that you've come and been so transparent. I know pollsters, Rahul, in the past would get it wrong and disappear. So thank you very much.
It takes a lot of courage.
Of course.
And speak on what you...
And also remember, polls are always directional. Anybody who gets carried away by saying that polls are the gospel, they are not. Polls are directional, they're very, very useful. I believe in that very strongly. Polls give you a good sense of how caste and communities are moving. That is the reality. Beyond that, the polls are not the gospel truth. You have to wait for the EVMs to be opened. Pradeep and his team, and not just to Pradeep, to all the people at Access My India who are watching at this moment, we know that you're tracking our channel, for the effort that you made during this Lok Sabha campaign. On behalf of the India Today Group, we're thankful for the effort that you made. You get some right, you get some wrong. This is a partnership. We can't put the blame down on Access My India. It's not our style. It's not what we think is right. This is teamwork. Pradeep and his team worked really hard on this poll. There are aspects that didn't come together. That is life. You take a blow and you get on.
Can I just make one more point on this? I think we as anchors and people in the TV studios also need to be that when we put the exit poll numbers, the definitiveness and the finality with which we do the analysis, maybe also we need to take a step back. So just as Pradeep has much to introspect, so do we. I still believe exit polls are better than someone sitting, and saying, "Arey, isko itna milega, usko itna." as we've seen, these are difficult states. I went to Andhra Pradesh and I thought Jagan Mohan Reddy was ahead. Look at what the result is. Why did I think so? Because I thought rural women were voting for Jagan. So we all get things wrong, Pradeep. आप और हम दोस्त हैं और दोस्ती में mistakes होते हैं. दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है मेरे दोस्त. There's another election in Maharashtra in 4 months. We have to get that spot on. There's an election in Jammu and Kashmir. There's an election in Haryana. अरे क्या बात करते हो? अरे ये कैसे बात है? अरे आप और हम टाइगर, you still are very much there. Don't worry about it. We've got. Look, all I want to say is that you've tried your best.
This is all that can be done.
That's all that we can do.
Even if, for example, with the election intelligence dashboard that we've got,
you've done an honest post-mortem.
What if the machine crashes and it doesn't work? All this hype, EID, this, that. I mean, it can crash. It's a machine. Your computers in office, your servers, anything can crash. Things can happen.
Rahul, don't forget. At least we've got the winner right. Remember 2004? Most pollsters even got the winner wrong, right? So. Things will happen.
And
yes.
in the midst of it, you've got 2 assembly elections bang on,
and he's got some very complicated states, right? For example, in Odisha, to pick the quantum and the magnitude of the BJP's performance in Odisha, that's very good.
अगला जीत
गाना करें.
चलो
चलो कुछ नहीं तो वो जो मूसे वाले का गाना था यार वही वाला चल गया.
I don't know. I didn't even know that Musewala sang till a few days ago. So that's another matter.
Musewala sang. Rajdeep, really?
चलाना बनता तो है. बनता है गाना. एक बार तो बनता है.
295. But the NDA is at 295. Rahul Gandhi thought he'd get 295.
गीत गाता हूँ मैं, गुनगुनाता हूँ मैं.
Which is what?
चलता रहता है यार. You continue the song of life. You get some days right, some days wrong. But look, at the end of the day, I think, Pradeep, I know you are passionate about elections, passionate about what you do. The tears that are coming out is a part of your passion. And I think viewers out there need to recognize, because when we do these exit polls, the attempt is to try and get you trends. Many of the trends that Pradeep has captured are important. Somewhere he's got it wrong. We will introspect. And I think that's the way forward.
The most important thing, learning which was not part of, when we look at data, we don't interpret it in its entirety. What he said about the movement, the migration of the Dalit vote.
No, we got that in the post-poll study.
Towards the reason, towards the India alliance, comforted by the fact that Congress was in the alliance. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone to say.
That's true.
One biggest conundrum before me is the same Dalit story did not work at all in Bihar. Bihar, you have.
No, I'm telling you that I got to study that also. And in Bihar, you see, because of JDU and Paswan's LJP, BJP is scoring much less in terms of number of seats in comparison to JDU.
Yeah.
And this is the story it tells. Because Dalit vote got in alliance with the NDA.